And all I really wanna know is who made the beat. Get up off your sheets and get up on your feet. Get up off your sheets, welcome to Behind the Beat.
Yo, we back with another episode of Behind the Beat. I'm Trees.
I'm doing the beat.
Get out the sheets and get on your feet.
And brush your teeth.
Do that. Make sure you do that. Hey, man, today, man, we got a crazy guest. Legend in the game, man. To my right, introduce yourself, big dog.
I'm known as DJ Shok. And I don't know, should I do a whole intro? Or I don't know, what should I do here? You know?
Man, he trying to sell himself short, man. This is the legendary DJ Shok, man. Platinum.
Triple platinum,
triple platinum producer. He done made hits with the legends, DMX, Eve. He got countless records, man. His archive is just, it goes long.
I mean, I'll go through a discography a little bit just to be fair, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so done stuff with X. Slippin's my biggest record. I did Here We Go Again with X also. I did the song with X and Eve, Scream Double R.
Okay.
That's like my X records. I did a lot of records with Eve, probably like 5 records, first and second album.
Okay.
Done stuff with did Remy Martin's first 2 records, Miss Martin, and You Was Wrong on the Big Pun album. Yeah Baby, his last album. And Kiss, Snoop, Drag On single, Spit These Bars, Rod Digger's first big single, The Imperial with Busta, countless stuff with the Locks, Training Days, like one of my favorites with them. Like all of Chic's early D Block stuff. I mean,
no, that's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, Tina Marie, which was a big deal for me, you know, to work with her because she was like like how you guys are looking at me. That's how I looked at Tina Marie because I grew up with Tina Marie, and it's crazy. Like, you know, that was so dope. Like we did a song, me, her, and Eve. Okay. And that was pretty dope. And rest in peace to her. I mean, you know, I've been around a while when a lot of people I'm like. Pun, rest in peace. X, rest in peace.
Crazy.
Tina Marie, rest in peace. You know, I think about it sometimes, and it's like
straight legends.
Yeah, it makes you also humbled too to just
still be
here,
right? Exactly.
To talk about it, you know, because it's like, I mean, this business it can put a beating on you, you know, it's especially if you're an artist and you're touring. I mean, I don't think people appreciate the demand that is, you know. You know, I just go away for a week or 10 days. It takes me a minute to recuperate, you know, even, and that's not a fun trip. That's not even a work trip.
Right.
So imagine, you know, what they do, you know, city to city, come back, then do an event, then do an interview, up for days. It's
don't see the fam.
It wreaks havoc on them, you know, and it's like, you know, that's a big topic, but it's something that, you know, especially at my age, you really think about that, and you know, as you see people, you know, passing away and stuff. You know?
From the outside looking in, you just don't. You never notice it like that. You just see them as the icon, the artist. Like, yo, they just like kind of like superheroes. Like, you know what I'm saying, and they but they go through everything like regular day life, like everybody else and stuff. So
and I have a high level of respect for people who have the longevity because, you know, being able to pop in, do it for a long period of time, and know when to take a breather, then be able to reinvent a little. And come back. It's not easy
at all.
It takes a lot of like soul searching. And looking deep within yourself to like to ground yourself again. You know, because you get lost. It's a normal thing. I mean, anybody's gonna get lost. I mean, if anyone caught that big fame and just walked outside and everybody knew who you were, I mean, that right there is a mind blower, right? Just that. Right. Now imagine the baggage that comes with it from your own close people. It's not an easy thing, you know. You know, I have a lot of empathy for them, for the artists, because I work with many artists, and I'm an artist, and you know, so I have more of a, I guess, a close, eagle eye kind of view to it. You know?
You see it clear,
Yeah,
I see more in detail with it.
Got the personal experience.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It's not easy on like they mental. Like when all that stuff happens to them, they're like, damn, they don't know how to cope with it. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think anybody's prepared for things like that.
Right, exactly.
You know, and it's not like with artists is not like there's a support network.
Exactly.
There's nothing to
like
be
a
like.
Union.
There's nothing. I've heard people speak of, hey, we should do a union
for the older. Yeah, for the
but
older.
But there's really nothing. There's no healthcare. There's no union. There's no support system. Like even a support system as like it's actually the opposite. Right. What we really have is situations where our support system is you turn hot. The hottest lawyer calls you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You come in. They're like, oh, you're not on ASCAP. They sign you up. Mm-hmm. Then they collect the checks and don't send them to you. It's more like you get railroaded.
Okay.
That's the welcome.
Okay.
Instead of being like, okay.
That is crazy.
Instead of being like, okay, this is kind of crazy. We're gonna prepare you for people who actually would care about you. It's almost non-existent. In the business because it's a dynamic of like. Artists, we do it because we love it.
Right.
It can change. You can start like getting into a space where I have to like man up and it has to be a business now.
Right, okay.
You can push a little bit of the artistry to the side. You can make some compromises, which is almost necessary. I mean, I was watching the documentary of Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah, okay.
And even he, who's a brilliant magician basically with instruments. Mm-hmm. And even there was a part where even he did it. I didn't know this, he did the first album, as brilliant as he is, and it flopped. And then they were, we need a single. Then he made a single, which I love, but and everybody else does. But for him personally, it was sort of a bit of a adjustment, right?
Okay, right, exactly.
So we all got to adjust to succeed.
Exactly.
But
the pressure.
Yeah, but it's a slippery slope, when you got your like Scott Storch stories of the drugs and stuff and getting caught up. There's so many pits to fall in.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like there's people in the business areas, whether it be in the Hollywood area, personalities, whatever, that are like set up
to put you
waiting for the hot guy.
Okay.
You've even got cliques of women, like the Kardashians or whatever, like waiting for the hot guy to like to pause, I guess, suck them dry.
Exactly.
Like basically, literally and figuratively, and in every way. And it's like it's like that's what we have, which is unfortunate because there's no profit for anyone. Except a good heart and doing something right and karma to help artists, and by the time, you get to my age and you've been through the ringer, if you can stick around and fight long enough, you get your just due royalties like I have. And
you gotta fight.
But it's a big fight. Even after you have something for 30 years, for example, there's this thing where after 30 years, I can get my stuff back. Right? I can get my master, my rights and everything can revert back to me. Mm-hmm. But it's a complex process. Right. It's a 3-year process. I'm learning about it now because I'm almost in 28. I'll be at the beginning of like some records will be turning 30.
Okay, right, exactly.
Big records,
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to start the process, but then that means in 28 I have to do it. In 29 I have to do it.
Yeah.
In 30 I have to do it. And it's a 3-year process. Yeah. And I have to pay for a lawyer. So they make everything. Yeah, it sounds great. All these things sound great and wonderful. But what if, I'm lucky. I have like 2 careers. Music producer, all that stuff, songwriting and everything. Yeah. I have a studio, and then I also am a broadcast technician at the UN. So, and I've been doing that like I've been there around 20 years. So it's like I'm able to kind of navigate easier. Yeah. And not be like beholden to like if I do a lawsuit, if I do something, I'm not going to eat now.
Right.
And to see that's the hold they have on artists because if everything you do is in the game, you have very little leverage because it's like, okay, look, as soon as you step to if you step to the majors, you step to the small company you're signed to, you step to an artist, and you come with a suit or anything. You look funny to all of us now. We don't want to deal with you. It's like you're like persona non grata. Like you're
get out here.
Not this guy. Mm-hmm. So and everyone knows that. So I mean, the people in power are like so egocentric. Truth be told, where you know, they very easily will shun you or cut you off
for the littlest thing,
for the tiniest thing. Right. Even I mean, I've been in situations where I was cut off, and it wasn't even true.
Yeah.
What happened? It was spun or whatever. Like because you know you got a lot of different people competing for things.
Exactly.
It was spun, and then that person cut me off so hard that I couldn't even explain. That's not even what happened. Like
they didn't even care for the side.
They thought I was going. I just. I mean, I'll give you a little without even throwing anybody under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good friend who was a manager. He's just a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. He was one of the greatest. He passed away, and then there was like another manager, and I was gonna work with that guy.
Okay.
And we were like in talks for a long time. We, you know, hanging out and just getting to know each other, and we were planning stuff. And then he heard that I'm always at this other guy's office, but it's because that's my guy. Like, you know what I mean? So then, out of a coincidence, he had an assistant he hired almost to start with me to do hip hop because he was doing like pop and different those types of producers.
Right.
And that person on her own decided to go work for my guy.
Okay.
I didn't have nothing to do with it, but he's thinking that I was there. She started working with me. I liked her, and I sent her to my guy.
Okay.
It wasn't true. I mean, it's a small group of people making moves.
Exactly.
But he didn't even let me explain it. So it's like, and that's the game.
Why do you think it's like that?
Because it's the big slots are few and far between, and they're almost impossible to get to. And when you do, most people understand that.
Okay.
And instead of, I mean, I can curse on here, right?
Of course.
Instead of not being dicks about it,
yeah,
you know, and being like, okay, let me try and make something different. They perpetuate the same behavior that made it difficult for them.
Right.
Now they're like, oh, now I'm in that position. I'm gonna do the same shit, which is crazy too. Because even when you get into like situations where it's like, you know, I mean, hip hop is black music. You know, it's black culture.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get into situations where you have these companies who will be like, okay, you know, we were treated this way by the white execs, and that's messed up. Okay, we don't want, you know, we look at all we had to do to get a fair deal. So they finally get through, they do whatever they do. Then now they're in a position to give out deals to their own community.
Yeah, and they do the
same shit that was done to them, and sometimes worse.
Yeah.
So it's like we almost end up, I think it's like an abuse thing. Yeah. Even if you look at abuse across the board, not just in music, you know, in relationships and families. Even though we know it's wrong, that behavior was modeled to us,
right? And
subconsciously,
trauma
to survive, and like because we never really faced it and dealt with it like on a deep level, we mimic that behavior
naturally,
just naturally.
Yeah, it's naturally,
and it's almost like no one can tell me nothing because it was done to me.
Exactly, yeah. So
and it's like
it that way.
So it emboldens people instead of the few and far between who are going to be like, damn, that happened to me.
Right.
That was messed up.
The cycle.
Breaking the cycle. So it's like, it's just not, you know, you got to do a lot of soul searching.
No, that's what. Yeah,
you got to do a lot of personal work. Exactly. You got to humble up. You got to, and honestly,
gotta grow up.
Who the fuck is doing that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like who's doing that out there? Hardly nobody. Especially hip hop is like it's an egocentric genre, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm the shit. You know, I've got better everything than you. This is like you know, from my understanding of the history of it, it's rooted in like when we would snap on each other as kids, you know? I mean, my brother told me that, and he's like he grew up in the Bronx, you know, we lived in the Bronx at that time, and he grew up like as it was sprouting, you know. I was born in 1974. He's my older brother, 10 years older.
Okay.
And he told me, he was like, yo, if you ask me, it started with snapping. Okay. Like the way we would snap on each other, and then it got more complex.
What's snapping? Like joking?
Yeah, like snapping. Jokes? Like, yo, your mother sold whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, like people who were fast, you know, like on their feet, just like, yo, and then they'd be like, come right back at you, you know, like that, you know, like there's a funny one online, you know, your dick's the size of a Tic Tac, and then that's why your mother's breath smells so good.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
I seen that joke. I seen that joke. Yeah.
So you like back and forth, you know. and people who were good at that evolved it into now. Okay, I'm gonna throw some poetry on that. I'm gonna throw a little bit, and all that's like emerging because
you saying that came from rap. That's how rap kind of.
That's from my passed down.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's
that is where it originated. The battling of it.
Okay, oh no, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
And so if we're doing that, which is what the kids do, yo, I got the new shit. You got skips.
Okay,
yo, why you wearing church socks?
No, okay.
You know, like this whole thing of what we grew up in, of one-upping, and then it passes on into the music, and then it becomes a bravado thing, and when that's the basis, how hard is it going to be? Now you marry that into Hollywood,
right?
You marry that into like these other systems that are like money based and power driven, and it's why hip hop works so well in it at the same time. It's the same reason why a lot of the most successful record label owners were also dealers.
Okay, right.
Because it's the same. It's second nature. It's it's the John Gotti mentality. It's like this same mindset. So what I say all that to say is like, how difficult is it in that culture,
right?
To have like. How are we going to bring, these mindsets of change and improvement?
And everybody's cutthroat type.
It's lip service, like even Styles, like someone who I highly respect.
Favorite rapper.
I love his music.
Favorite rapper.
One of my favorites that, I had the privilege of doing a lot of music with, consider him like a brother, like from the times we worked together in the studio so much.
And Nobody Believes Me is epic.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That song by heart, bro. That's my shit.
And he even threw out one day, we need to start a union.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? But it's such a difficult thing,
right?
Like
everybody got to be on board.
You need funding, and the thing is, if you get too outspoken about it, someone even like him, just being honest, or who's really deep in the business and still, he's got other streams of revenue and stuff,
right?
But generally speaking, it's going to make your walk a little more difficult.
Right, exactly.
On the streams of revenue related to music,
right? Exactly.
Because you're now attacking
going against them.
My money, right?
Exactly.
Like
going against them.
I'm saying like if I was UMG or Sony, now you're coming at my money. You want a union,
right?
The union's gonna
take
do
money from
audits.
Okay.
Like what would a union do? A union would audit, like, because it's so. This is one thing a union could do that would be amazing. That would be awesome. They could have a fund for auditing,
right?
Because auditing is like $25,000 and up. So and here's the logic: it's why we're trapped. Think about it. I'm broke because you're not paying me my royalties. I would love to audit you. Okay, sure, you can audit me. Nothing's stopping you. How much is it? $25,000. Oh, I guess I won't be auditing anybody today. You know what I mean? So it's like this system built like that. So now if you had a union who's like, oh, we have a fund, like we got a whole fund if you want to audit people.
Right.
Like, okay, we got, so far this year we got $1 million to audit. You know what I mean? Fill out something, say, hey, this is why I want to audit, and we'll over-review it. And 25,000 divided by $1 million, that's a lot of guys and gals, that you can audit now. Now that is going to throw so much shit in the game that now you're public enemy number one. Because this is $1 billion
company, yeah.
This is billions you're dealing with now. This isn't like mom and pop, So it's like, it's a dangerous thing, man. It's a dangerous thing. Like when you go against the system, there's consequences. Yeah. There's consequences. Look at anyone who's ever said anything.
Yeah.
There's
the
consequences.
Bigger than you. That's what it is. Yeah. It's bigger.
And there's that's the thing I think about it, right? It's like when you get into the business side of things and you really get that first billboard that first week, like what we were saying, they blow your phone up. They get you your pub deal maybe, you get you a manager, and then you're off to the races, right? You're trained to be so proud of what you accomplished, and then, all right, 2 weeks is up. What's next?
Right.
And you get into this whole new ecosystem, and then you start to see like the structure of everything, right? And if you ever read the 48 Laws of Power, how they always talk about never outshining the master, that reading the room, reading the energy, and kind of trying to play your position as best as you can is the best thing you can do.
Right.
But you might be naive. You might be coming from a strict creative standpoint. You know, so like I think even the ecosystem of the labels right now, you can see, you get your advance probably 3 to 9 months after the song is cut, if you're lucky, makes the track list. 3 months after that, you might get your first publishing check if you didn't miss the deadline on registrations, and you might not even know if you're collecting. So then by the time you're like, where's my money, where's this, where's that, it's been a year. Right? And so that's the scariest thing. It's like a dog-eat-dog world right now. It's probably always been.
So basically you just gotta know you gotta know the business. That's what you're saying. Basically, like before you even, like, say if you don't know, nobody's gonna let you know.
It's just like they dicking you around to get your money.
You gotta try to find a way to navigate through what you don't know in the better way. Like, you might not know what this is, but you have to know, okay, which lawyer should I call and why, and how do they work? Because a lot of lawyers, if they're like, let's say they're just doing producer agreements. Let's say you have a $10,000 advance, which for some reason now is actually a little high. You could say, okay, 5% of my advance will go to paying the lawyer, which is what, $500?
Right.
When you get paid, that's a good one. But you just got to be careful and not taking the lawyer that is on their end to benefit them, right?
Right. Okay.
You just got to figure out what works for you, because at the end of the day, it's how you handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because usually you got the first couple years, and then you start to go back and forth, and a lot of times people get blackballed.
Okay.
You know, for doing stuff like that, right? Because you can see a lot of these people right now, they're coming out now. It's 2025. A lot of people are doing their own publishing companies. A lot, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing for producers.
Okay.
Right? Is just finding a way to go about it, because you can know all the answers and still do nothing.
Right. Okay.
And you can be stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot, and then the rabbit hole is crazy, because it's like, I remember when I started my journey, I mean, to get my royalties, and I was looking for lawyers.
Yeah.
A big problem was lawyers don't want to do that, because think about it this way. All week, I've been doing a deal with, there's only 3 big companies.
Right.
It's Warner, Sony, and UMG.
I didn't get that.
So all week I've been like trying to do a deal with whatever, these guys. And now you want to hire me to go at them when I've been negotiating to get my, let's say, my client an advance of $250,000.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back and forth. Now my next email is, hey, I have a problem with you. I almost can't do that, because I'm trying to befriend this person. I'm trying to like go to the party with this person, and the Christmas, whatever is going on.
Trying to build a bond.
Build that bond.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't really take on a client. It's messed up, because it's a conflict of the lawyer's interest.
Right, exactly.
They can't say that to you, because that would be kind of like almost unethical. It's like, how could you say that? So very few and far between lawyers will even want to take the case. I went through, without exaggerating, 15 to 20 throughout the years that said no.
Lawyers?
Yeah, and then finally I got someone to take it for my journey, and that, I think a lot of it was sort of a personal connection, and that person was younger, and they kind of knew my music, and they had an affinity for like Eve, and I think that played a piece of it, and it made them. And it made them think a little bit harder about it. Even one time, an intern sent me documents to prove my case. This is way like 10 years before I even really started to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
And they sent it to me because they were like, "Yo, you're Shok." Yeah. They're like, you did, and they're not paying you.
Right.
And he was like, "Yo, don't worry, I'm gonna get you 10 years of proof."
And proof.
And I was
out of nowhere.
He just sent it to me.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So it's like all my help came from the music. So there's something to be said too. Like I don't want to be negative, because I am a strong believer in in the universe and God, and if you have faith and you keep putting one foot in front of the other,
right.
You keep taking that step without seeing the whole staircase and not knowing how you're going to do it.
Right.
I'm a huge believer that actually will get you where you're going, and you don't need to know how you're going to get there.
Okay.
You just need to wake up every morning and it's over there, and just take a step over there. And I'm a big believer in that.
Right.
And I think that how bad your situation is, if you don't give up but just take breaks,
right,
that's the trick. Like, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna want to give up, you're gonna be like, I can't handle this, it's not worth it, I'm just gonna let this whole thing go. instead of saying yes that day, say, I'm gonna let it go for a little while. A little while could be 2 weeks, a week, a month.
A year.
It could be a year.
Exactly.
It could be a year and a half. Life happens. Maybe you at that moment in life, a lot of bad things happen. Someone passed away. Someone, so that's like a tragedy of 2 years. You lost your job. A lot of things happen. Life is not easy.
Life.
Yeah. So you deal with your life those 2 years, and then after those 2 years, you pick that back up, put that backpack on, and you keep climbing up that mountain. And it's like, I think that's the key, and I think that we tend to, as humans, give up versus take a breather.
Right. Okay.
And even I go through that to this day, and it's something that I learned. It's like over time, it's like, don't stop, don't give up, take a break, put it to the side, and keep on. So I'm saying that to be positive about it. Whereas, like, as bad as the system is, I believe that if you're true to yourself, you have faith in the higher power, like whatever your faith is, it doesn't matter to me. I think that we all are born whatever, and we find our way as we look, as we knock on that door, and we find our way. Because we're having faith, because we're looking. We don't understand it, we don't get it, but we're trying. And I think that as long as you have that kind of a faith, even if it's in yourself, even if it's in like, I can do this, that leads to a good place, because that you are everything. You are the universe. God is in you. Whatever you look at, even whether you're Christian, Muslim, Universalist, you want to read the Upanishads, Alan Watts. I don't care what you want to crack open. It's all leading to, we're made of the stars, and we're powerful, right? I mean, but we don't feel that way sometimes. But sometimes reality isn't how you feel. Exactly. So you gotta you do whatever you gotta do. You pray, you take a break, you talk to people, meditate, whatever. Whatever it is, play basketball.
Whatever your vice is to get away.
Whatever it is, do what you got to get away. We're all wired different, so what does it for me is not going to do it for someone else, And so you got to embrace that, and do that, and not, basically never give up. That's the trick. The trick to me, if someone comes and asks me and says, "Yo, how do you succeed? What's the trick?"
Never give up.
Never giving up. Exactly. That's the only. There were people who made better music than me. There were people who you go across, that did this better, that better, whatever.
It's all about the work ethic. Keep pushing.
They didn't do the never give up part. Exactly. So it's like when everyone's like you pushing you out of the fold or shunning you, or whatever the case is. During those times, not giving up and being like, okay, I'm not going to give up. I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I don't know if this is going to pan out. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. But I'm going to put my foot on the gas every day. I'm going to fill up the tank. And
keep going.
I'm going.
Keep driving.
Yeah, that's a good subject, right? Because, like what you were saying, like burnout is a thing. And, and if you don't give up, but you take your breaks, that's important, because everybody celebrates the grind, but then you have nothing left, right? You're overworked. You're probably making subpar work at the end of the day. You're not inspired. I'm sleep deprived. That's a coincidence.
Are you living this right now?
Yeah. This is what an engineer looks like.
This is the best. Okay.
This is what an engineer looks like, right? And then it's like, wow, you need to detox from the music sometimes, but because you get desensitized a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you get less creative because you hear everybody all day, especially engineering.
Yeah, this is gospel, man.
Yeah, like, and then it's like, okay, and then someone asks you, do you like this? And you like, yeah, but like, when's the last time something struck a nerve, a good nerve, music nerve, in that first 10 to 15 seconds? It's a good thing that you have like a selective ear, but then there's a diminishing returns point, kind of comes with the burnout, and that's why it's like, but I think people need to research more on just being healthy with it, right?
Yeah, because mentally you're not there to even like receive,
process
like,
it.
Dude, that's such a jewel, huge jewel, huge jewel. And I would even add to it that when you give yourself that needed rest or whatever, when you come back in one day, you're gonna do what would have took you 4 days.
Okay.
On the burnout level.
Right.
I forgot who I was saying that to. I was
That's
like,
dope.
yo, you gonna make a? I think he was there. I was like, you gonna make a beat like for like for weeks or months or years. You come back, that beat be fire. You be like, damn. You might make like 10. That's just fire.
Because it's fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fresh. You ever do a track or something, put it to the side, forget about it, and then put it on and be like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Like, hold on, I made that.
Yeah, you're like, what was I thinking?
Yep.
Because you got that fresh mind.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it, right? It's like a lot of my records that actually did something, I never had a feeling attached to it, right? I was on the grind mode. And then I re-listened to it after it comes out. And I'm like, what were you seeing that I wasn't in this record, in this beat, right? It was just a beat that day. And until it gets placed and then it's out and people are like reacting to it, you know, some people would tell me, oh, this little TJ record was my breakup song. I was like, really? This song? What were you thinking when you did that? I don't know. It was 5 in the morning.
He said it was 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Always interesting to hear people's perspectives on like the music.
Yeah.
You said you co-produced that record, right? Like with somebody else.
Yeah, it was a guitar player from Germany.
Yeah, the guitars on there, the strings on there is dope.
I did a lot of counter melodies, but the main guitar part was sampled, and he did a lot of production on TJ's catalog too and Polo's catalog. So I knew it would be a good fit. But I mean, I was sending that one A&R beats for 6 months, every single day. I would make her 2 fresh beats and go back to sleep. And
that's all I'm about to do.
And the email didn't clear, you know, and then it cleared that day. And then I got a call, hey, can we use this? And then it went from there. But it was until said song came out, and I think any song comes out, that you don't see where it goes, right? Because you might do a record with the biggest artist in the world, and it doesn't come out, and you have it, and you're like, see?
Like I got a song with Chris Brown.
You can have it, and then it's like,
you do?
Unless the major releases it.
Saying, like, I wish.
Unless the major label kind of chimes in on it, it's like,
well, I wish it for you too, but I wish that it would come out though. Like,
they
release it.
Yeah.
Because it'll suck if they don't.
Or if it leaks, it's the worst.
Oh man.
Because you get a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but cricket.
Yeah, so you can't get no results from it.
But yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah. Shok, what got you into music?
I was always crazy about music since I was little. I'm the little kid who, my mom got pictures of me taking the pots and pans out like 2 years old, crawling, playing.
Okay.
Then they finally got me a little Muppet drum. And there's a funny story with my dad. I used to play on it so much. And one day he yells at me like, you would have to be Latino to understand. He goes, para eso, hijo puta. So I was like, stop that, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, okay.
So I heard that, and my mom said that when I heard that, I made a beat out of it, and I put that as the chorus.
Yeah.
So I was like, hijo puta, hijo puta, hijo puta. So it's like, that's just within me, you know?
Yeah, right.
So like, from there, I mean, I could
That's
go on
crazy.
to then my dad gave me a one of those realistic portable cassettes that you could record. I walk around recording. I'm recording from the speaker. I'm recording
rapping?
Sounds. No, just recording.
Oh, the music type. Okay.
Just recording things and playing with it, slowing it down, just trying to see what happened with it, just experimenting. And then even we had a stereo, Lafayette, Circuit City, old school shit. This is like back when disco was big.
Right.
And then I found out like if because we had records, like we were pretty musical house, like different kinds of music, not heavy, but pretty musical.
Okay.
And I found out that if you put where it said phono and tuner and you put it right in the middle, the selector, you could hear both.
Oh yeah.
So I would sometimes like try to mix or some shit because I would hear other DJs or whatever.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I one DJ in particular, what really put a fire in me too was Aldo Moren, who is the co-owner of Cutting Records. He also is responsible for Al Nafish, It's Time, which is like the record that Dre is cutting in the NWA, like if it's time, and then 500 other records, because Cutting Records is like a huge underground New York City music label. He DJ'd my sister's Sweet 16, and I was probably in the like 5-year-old range.
Okay.
And that was the first time I saw a DJ, and it blew my mind. Like I stuck next to him the whole time.
Yeah.
He kept playing a cut from the Wicked Witch of the West and Wizard of Oz. You know, going so soon, my little party's just beginning, and like messing with me, and it blew my mind.
And that's when it started right there.
Yeah. So that, and I'm actually in the first grade at that point.
Okay.
And I started DJing at 10. I got these shitty used turntables that my sister found a DJ selling.
You were DJing at 10, like at parties,
or not you at just parties, just at home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
my first party that a DJ was in 5th grade, the St. Mary's Dance Marathon. Yeah. 5th grade. Yeah.
That's
5th
dope.
grade. So the teacher came pick me up. Because they needed a DJ, and I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I took my home stereo. They let me do it.
Yeah.
My parents.
That's crazy.
I took it in what was her name? I think it was Miss Rizzoli. She picked me up, and I brought the equipment. And I mean, at that time, like the big records were like Nobody Beats the Biz.
Okay, yeah.
That was like a big record. Make the Music with Your Mouth, like all the Juice Crew stuff.
Okay.
Some early BDP stuff, Jungle Brothers.
Yeah. And and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like for me, they say a lot of people the golden age is like the 90s, which I understand because that's when like hip hop became very global,
right.
And I mean probably some of our best work, you know, as a community musically is in the 90s. But for me, it's the 80s. You know, like like Crush Groove, Beat Street. You know, those early 80s like Profile Records, that stuff. You know, and also a lot of when I was little, disco was huge. You know, and disco breaks. I mean, Fat Boys were the Disco 3. You know, like before they were the Fat Boys. So like, disco had a big piece of hip hop because there was a lot of disco breaks.
Okay.
You know, and break beats and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I hearing the disco, hearing 92KTU, the Battle of the DJs, all that stuff really like made me love music more, want to buy records, and then like what pushed me into hip hop more was like Red Alert and Marley Marl. So like on Friday and Saturday nights, you had BLS and Kiss in New York, and when I would record both of them. Because Marley would play records that Red wouldn't play because they had a lot of beef. So it's like Marley's gonna play Shan, the Juice Crew, all that stuff, and then Red Alert's gonna be playing like his side, which is like Jungle Brothers, KRS-One, you know, and just there was certain records that they both would play,
right.
You know, famously, like, you know, Mr. Magic, No More Music by the Suckers was talking to Public Enemy. So there's always these different things. So like, obviously he's not playing PE, so you got to record both. And then there was like P Fine on 89.1, which is like the NYU station at that time. And recording all that music as a little kid, it really fed me. And it was like, and it was different too, because at that time, hip hop we take for granted. It's all over the place. At that time,
it was only
I was like elite in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm listening to this shit and nobody knows about this. Like I got this on tape. It's in my Walkman. I'm on my way to school and they don't play none of this in the daytime.
Exactly.
Like the first time they would play, like when they played It's Like That or Sucker MCs in the daytime, it blew my mind because I'm like, oh shit, they're playing that music in the daytime. It blew my mind. I'm you know, like I'm listening to Kiss and then they put it on. I'm like, what?
Oh.
And then like, you know, certain records as they started getting played in the day, it was like a big deal because in the daytime you're hearing like R&B, like that disco R&B, like Fonda Ray and you know like all this different type of music in the daytime. Hip hop wasn't really played in the day. And then you had the, you know, like Run DMC is such an impactful group because they really almost in a way invented the crossover of hip hop.
So they kicked the door down.
Basically. They really did. I mean, I could be off, but I mean, you know, their early records took us to daytime airplay.
Right,
Then as they grew from that and went to MTV, they merged with
commercialized,
rock, and then they got the new audience for us, you know, for hip hop, and then you keep progressing, and you know, they laid the foundation for what the 90s was able to do to get to the point where, you know, even the Beastie Boys is laying a foundation for like an Eminem, you know. And these things are happening like throughout time, you know, in these just like 20-year period. And so that's what called me and everything.
First, NWA or Run DMC?
Run DMC. Yeah.
Run DMC for sure. Right?
Run DMC influenced NWA.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like if you like early like electro hip hop, and like Run DMC.
Oh yeah, because
and Schoolie D actually is probably the first like gangster record, PSK.
Okay.
That was like probably the first like gangster record.
Okay. Yeah.
Like and it wasn't even that like when you started hearing curses and stuff like that was like I remember Just Ice, you know, like he had like the first times I started hearing like really explicit lyrics was probably like Just Ice with That Girl Is a Slut.
Oh.
That was super explicit at that time. You would hear little. They tried to at that time. They were making clean records mostly, you know. And then the West Coast really just went crazy,
right.
And it changed things a little bit. They're the ones who changed things in a way where like, then New York was like, oh shit, you know, like we can do that.
Oh yeah,
they
West Coast was definitely on the gangster.
Like NWA really broke a molding
for sure,
where they didn't care.
Yeah,
and New York was still like under this code of listening to the executives of like you can't curse, it's not going to get airplay. But NWA, you know, with the F the Police, you know, if anybody wants to watch that documentary, it's great. You know, the bio documentary, and it shows you all of that. And it's super real because it's true. You know, they did that, and it changed. You know,
now that was a different type of time in hip hop, and it was like real authentic and real. It's like you could feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real back then. You know what I'm saying? Now it's not saying it's. It's not saying it's not real now. It doesn't feel as authentic as it was back in the day.
It feels like entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. It's all entertainment now. I'm not saying it wasn't back then. It just felt like it wasn't entertainment. It was real, and they was just capturing the moment.
Storytelling.
Exactly.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure.
I think it got so big, and it got so broad and it also got very accessible. Like when I started producing, you couldn't. I started at 16. And I got my first equipment at 18, and you needed about $3,500 just to get going.
Just to start it.
Just to get going because you need. My starter kit was actually. I was thinking about this the other day. My starter kit was actually a nightmare, and I got to shout out my boy Alex because I bought a Roland. No one should have ever heard of this, and I hope. And if you do, you're crazy.
It was one of them things.
It was called a Roland. No, that shit is not. That's not even worthy of
the wall placement.
It lasted probably a month.
Yeah.
It was called the Roland DJ 70. And my dumbass being a DJ, it had like a little thing to cut on. It was like 3,000 something. Oh, and the guy I just went to the store,
back then too.
Sam Ash, and that's how much I had saved. I had saved $3,500, and he was like selling it to me like, yo, you could sequence, you could do sample, you could do everything. And so I bought it, and I'm home like trying to make beats, and Alex comes by, he takes a look at this, and he's like, yo, take that shit in my car right now, we're taking it back. And I'm like, word? So he took me back, and then I got the real shit.
Oh, so you got your money back?
He was like, you got to take that shit back. Actually, it's weird because it's one Alex told me to take it back, and another Alex who actually took me to the store. It's two Alexes.
Yeah, them Alexes wasn't fucking with that.
Yeah, Alexes saved me. You know what's crazy? It's one of those things in life. Like, if you might not meet your wife if you wouldn't have stopped at that gas station.
No, for sure.
You know, that day, you know, or something like you decided to go somewhere that you weren't gonna go.
Right.
Like, those one.
So basically,
dude, if I would have stayed with the DJ 70, who knows?
I was about to say. So if both the Alexes never told you nothing about that, you'd
probably. Who knows? If I would stayed with that, I would have gave up.
Yeah,
I would have gave up. So I went and I got my first starter kit was the Kai S950 for the sampling, the Roland MC50 for the sequencing, and then I got a little Tascam mixer, and that was my starter kit. Those three pieces, and that was 3,500 entry, whereas now your entry is your phone. Your entry is absolutely free.
Sure.
Anybody can do it. They can sing on. You can put a whole song together, track it out on your phone, sing the vocals in it. It'll tune it for you. Yeah, 100%. My niece sent me something the other day. It blew my mind. She sings and writes.
That's
and
crazy.
And I'm like, what? She's only like 12.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? And so it's like you got this market that's saturated, and all you got to do to distribute your song to the whole world is pay $20 a year on one of the DSPs. Mm-hmm. So it's like before it was the opposite. Hard to buy the stuff. I mean, when I was producing in Yonkers back in the days, it was maybe 4 or 5 of us, and Yonkers is the 3rd biggest city in New York.
In New York, yeah.
So it's like it's just a couple. You know, it was me. That from memory, Jay Bland, PK. I remember a guy named Tone, Lethal. And I might be forgetting somebody, but in my mind, we were like the 5 at that moment. Yeah. You know, like in the like 95, 96, 94. 93, 92.
PK, I think I
so
heard PK before.
PK is one of the main Rough Rider producers. Yeah, so like the earliest Rough Rider producers is basically PK and Grease.
Okay.
And Swiss was away, and he came back, and then Swiss became, like part of the fold, and those 3 produced the first album, mostly Grease and PK.
Okay.
Swiss did one song, which was a huge song, the Rough Rider Anthem.
Yeah.
And then, basically, I joined the team, like, just before the first album was released.
Yeah. How did it happen? Like, how did you you knew them already, or?
I had an independent label,
okay.
like in the early '90s,
what's the name of it?
Mid '90s, Mass Vinyl.
Okay.
And we had an artist, High Tech. He did really well underground. From my basement, we used to do radio promotions, mail out. We used to chart in
from the basement.
Yeah,
that's dope.
CMJ hits. Yeah. These were like all the magazines from back then. You wanted to go to college radio.
Right. Okay,
that was how you blew up. College radio and mixtapes. Mm-hmm. So you wanted to chart in hits, Gavin and CMJ. Those are like the journals, like Billboard.
Right.
So you wanted to blow up in college radio, and that could even get you to Billboard if you blew up enough. Mm-hmm. And so we were doing that out the basement, and then I was doing the music. Had my little setup that I just told you.
Right, yeah.
We stepped it up a little. I got like a little Yamaha Pro Mix 1, which was like the first digital mixer. Yeah. And we did all that out the basement. And then, so I knew a mutual friend introduced me to Joaquin, which is like one of the owners of Rough Riders.
Okay.
The main owner, really.
Right.
He's the one who kind of invented the whole persona of it and everything, and carries it to this day. And he was like wanting to sign me.
Yeah.
He came to the basement one day. He was like, "Yo, you should." I went to visit them, but truth be told, at that time they were like in an earlier stage, and they really didn't. They had the locks. They were managing the locks.
Okay.
They had them on Bad Boy. I knew of DMX as a Yonkers thing. I didn't even know for sure that they had X at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking too many questions, but I went and I saw their setup, and it was like compared to what I was doing.
It was crazy.
I was killing it to me.
Because
I had my indie.
Right.
We went to Romania. We were killing it in Japan. Like we were doing on an indie label.
Yeah.
And we were good in the Bay Area. Like they were playing our stuff on Sway and Tech.
I love it, man.
Like we had some love, So I'm thinking I'm not really gonna go over here right now.
Right.
But what he did was, he's a smart guy. Is he's like, "Yo, come down, play some beats or whatever." Like I would do that anyway, and see if I could get something going, sell a beat or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, "Yo, come downstairs." So I go to his truck, and he's like, "I'm gonna play you something." Okay. He plays me X first album. At this time, only thing that I had heard like out of them and the old X stuff that just went around Yonkers on the tapes, and you would hear like in the back of the bus on your way to school or whatever.
Okay, right.
I had heard that, and then I had heard "Get At Me Dog," like there was a freestyle version of it.
Okay.
And they had just made like the regular version of it with just Sheik on the chorus, and that was starting to build up a little bit. But that was so different that at that moment I was like, I gotta see. I like it in my mind. I'm like, this is dope, but it's so different for the industry right now.
What's going on?
I wonder how that's gonna play out.
Okay.
So that's that moment where I don't know how that's gonna play out.
Yeah.
And so I'm like still on the fence about this company because I don't want to like
commit to it. Yeah, you don't want to commit to it.
Yeah. And then he plays me the album, and I'm just like blown. Like my mind is just what the production Grease and PK did on that album is like they should get way more props, credit for it because it's like I respect both of them so much just for that work.
And that's
just that work. Like
if they
would have just done that and then moved to the Himalayas,
right? And they'd have been on the
I'm
top.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I still got you guys up high.
Right.
Like that album, when I heard it, it was like nothing I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm. That album was crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, this is one to me. It's not mentioned enough. So I heard that, and I looked at the end of it. I looked at him and I was like, "All right, where do you want me to sign?" Right. And that was that. And then even my lawyer was like, "Oh, how do you know they're gonna? I'm telling you, these guys are gonna be blah blah blah." And it was like it wasn't the greatest or whatever.
Right.
But run of the mill shit, And but I was like, I don't care. I was like, I know this is gonna go. I was like, because I already knew the locks I just liked.
Right.
So I was like, I felt good. I'm like, yo, even just to work with these guys, and if I'm gonna be able to, and then to my surprise, the shit went crazy. So I'm like still doing the negotiating of my deal, and
the shit blowing up.
The R is going crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm literally, I still remember this, where I'm with my lawyer and he's like, don't sign this. He's like, if you sign this, I'm not going to represent you.
Yeah.
And I said they're filming, they were like about to film the video for the Rough Rider anthem.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm telling you, this is going to be the biggest thing since like Bad Boy, I said.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm signing this shit.
I did that Rough Riders.
Yeah. So I signed it, and then, luckily for me, like, I literally completely finished the thing and signed it, and right after I did that, literally like maybe a week after, they were like, yo, come down to the office, you're gonna go to California, we're working on X's second album, and there was like a limo to pick up me, PK, and Grease.
That's hard.
So it's like I had just slid into like one of the most elite production teams
like this.
There is, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in there. I knew PK from the hood. He used to write Pent, and I used to write Shok, and we were both up in Yonkers.
Okay.
And like whatever in the area.
He's from the real like hip hop. He's like
we used to bomb. Pent was up. Shok, I was up.
Man,
we both had ups. I had ups
dope.
all the way down from Broadway in the square up to like uptown, like up to Dykeman. Like I used to go bombing that night with my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we still. I'm
for the people that don't know that, what is that?
It's going out and tagging, writing. Doing. I wasn't like an artist. I was doing beautiful work, but I was just bombing. Put my name up, but that helped me because then I would throw parties, and I would go into certain areas, and I would put up my flyer, and if the flyers were like graffiti style,
and they'll see that same,
and they would be like, "Yo, you're Shok." They'd be like, "Yeah, yo, I'm doing a party." Blah blah blah, and that would get them to come, and I would, I'd rent out a hall, $5 a pop back then. This is like I'm going back to like 90, 91, 92, 93. So anyway, those guys and so we go and unbelievably fucking. But this is in a way, someone would say, "Oh, you got lucky," but
you kind of knew.
I'm already 20. I started DJing at 10. At 16. I started making beats. At 18, I got my own stuff. Started my independent label. At this point, I'm like 25.
Yeah, so you was already going up.
So I'm like 10 years in this
for
me to get lucky.
Right.
You was already putting in the work. Every dollar I had, reinvested it, worked like an animal all the time, and then I got lucky. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't believe that. I think it's after so much you end up in a situation. Yeah. So anyway, we go. I get literally I take my bags. There's a place, like they had like rented a house and everyone's in different rooms and shit. I drop my stuff off. I go right to the studio, and immediately like I see Swiss. And at that time, me and Swiss were pretty cool. Like we were very cool. He listened to my stuff. He green lighted me because Joaquin was like, "Yo, listen to and Swiss actually knew my underground stuff, which helped because he was like, "Yo, you're Shok Beats," because I used to put out instrumental albums. And they were called Shok Beats 1, Shok Beats 2.
Okay.
And I would just put like 10, 11, 12 instrumentals.
Yeah, okay.
And he was like, "Yo, you're Shok Beats?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, I got some of your shit." So it was like we connected right away. Right. And so when he saw me, he was like, "Yo, play some shit for X. You got something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got my fucking equipment in my luggage. I got everything." To go. And that same night, man, as I arrived, we did Slippin'. I played it, and they both looked at each other, and he was mouthing some of the words to it, and he was like, "Yo, lay that." Back then, lay that meant
X say that. I was X saying.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, lay that."
Right.
And I was like, all right, I laid that shit immediately. Immediately, I fucking ran in my bag.
When you made that beat though? You already had that beat.
I had that beat. Actually, I had even done another
before
song
you got
with that
signed?
beat. 4 years. It was 4 years old when he heard it.
Damn.
About 4 years old, I made that beat. It was originally an R&B song.
You're right.
Called "How You Feel."
Damn.
Yeah, that we had done. Me and like an unknown group.
Right.
Shout out to them and like we went and fucking Jamel and Deshaun and we went to Harlem. We did the song and we just forgot about it.
Right. 4 years.
The beat is sitting there, and the beat is here's another. And this is a funny thing. You know how everybody always try to put claim on shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, but everybody because there was 3 people there. It was me, my wife, Poobs, and who stayed with D Block like after I subbed out the studio. My wife, Poobs, and my boy Gio. So they're all there while I'm making the Dat to Go. And the truth is, I didn't want to put the beat for Slippin' because it was calm. Like think about X up to that point.
Right.
Everything is like, so I'm putting these beats that are like just crazy shit with orchestra hits, and like I want X to spaz out on something. That's my thing. I'm thinking
that would be mine too. No bullshit.
So they're like, yo, put this beat on it. You gotta. And I'm like, that's not X.
Yeah,
that's not X. The only thing I even heard close to that. To that point was like, how's it going down? But that was like more R&B. Like Slippin' is different. It's a different space. So and also when you're making like a DAT back then or a CD or whatever, you're very conscious of the fact that they skip your shit in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn. It's like damn, like
we get to hear it.
You get to hear it. So Slippin' starts with the sound of the ocean. Then it has it's like this long ass time before the beat even happens.
Right. Meditate before.
So I'm like, this ain't the beat for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm competing against the best producers.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, this ain't it. But they all claim, they're like, yo, I told them to put it on there, which is true. They all did, but they all got like their own versions of the story and shit. So. The truth is, I wasn't gonna put out. All 3 of them fought with me. They were like, "Yo," my wife too. She was like, "Yo, you gotta put that on there. That's one of my favorite ones." Poobs was like, "Yo, Shok, you gotta put it on there." And Gio was like, "Yo, you better put that shit on there." Yeah. So I put it on reluctantly,
right?
Which shows you too what you're saying. When you're in the zone, you're making beats all the time.
Right.
You got this burnout mode because you're hustling so hard. You get desensitized a little bit. So I listened because I was like, you know what? If they're all 3, you got 3 different like types of people. You got my wife, who's not even a real hip hop head.
Right.
You got Gio, he's a hip hop head. Poobs is a hip hop head.
They all feeling it, but you just like.
And I'm like, if they're, you got this wide range. I think what clinched it for me was my wife agreeing with the hip hop heads.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, this is something special.
Because she don't even like you said.
Yeah, it's like something special. Like I was like, so I just put it in, and lo and behold, man, we did it. It turned into something great, and it changed my life, my career. I mean, it's a different space. First off, Rough Riders took off. They were the hottest thing on the planet. By the time I got to do the second album, it was already like everything was meteorized. And then at the same time, I do a big record.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was a lot. I still had to grind. I still had to go at people.
Right.
But
you still solidified.
It was like. I'm like calling you now. It's like Shok from Rough Riders.
Yeah, you solidified now.
And
then they be
like, "Who's this?" He's the one who did Slippin'.
Oh, all right. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, what's going on?
It's like a difference from like,
for sure.
I'm Shok. I got my independent label.
So that opened doors for you, basically.
It opened tons of doors, and then the grind of it. It opens doors, but then you fall into these spaces. Of like, this one's blocking you. Yep. This is happening. Right. You had this going, and you're like, damn, how'd that stop? And now you get into this complicated mix of.
Which is so.
It's the industry type. Is industry shit type shit.
I mean, you can't hide from it. It is what it is. I got a billion stories of situations and different things. But end of the day, it was a good opportunity. I love making music, and it gave me a chance to make music with great artists. I mean, there's no bigger dream for a producer to work with really good artists.
Exactly.
Because the truth is, like, these great artists, like, I've heard them spit on beats that are like subpar,
right.
and like, why'd you take it? And when they're done with it, you know, there's just the arguments of, are you a producer? Are you a beat maker?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these great artists, I mean, as a producer, if they come to you with something great and you're like, yeah, that's dope, they're still being great. You know what I mean? You're acknowledging it, you're recognizing it, and you're saying, hell yeah. But some of them are so big, you know, like a Busta, you know, like I did a lot of stuff with Busta back then. Like, I'm not really gonna be giving out opinions to Busta.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is like one of the greatest of all time, creatively, innovatively. Am I really gonna sit there and be like, you know, if he asked me, maybe.
Right.
But truth be told, is like, this is like a genius. I got my beat going, and then he comes and is like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's basically, you know, working with someone of that caliber is just like you being like, mind blown, mind blown,
for sure,
mind blown. Thank you, you know.
Right.
So,
yo, and I don't want to go. I don't not to cut you off. I don't want to go buy it, right? So when you say he was in the studio and he told you to lay that, how was like, what was the vibe in there? Like, you know what I'm saying, so you actually seen him lay it down, boop.
He said, yeah, I saw the process. Yeah. This is no bullshit. It was all one take. One take, because he had those lyrics for longer than the 4 years I had on the beat.
Damn. The whole song one take?
Yes. The one take of the main pass.
Right.
Then I'm doing doubles.
Right.
I'm doing ads. Just like that. Like, now I'm going to talk in the beginning. I'm going to say something.
So he already had the whole
structure. He had the shit mapped.
He was just looking for that right.
Exactly. And they even looked at each. Swiss had been working on that album by himself with X.
Right.
Which is something that I don't think was fair. Like, he's out there, basically the album's pretty much done.
Right.
And then me, PK, and Grease get there.
Exactly.
So that was kind of fucked up.
So it was just like some extra.
It was like some, you know,
sprinkle on top
family thing happening. Yeah. So they had been there. They looked at each other, and it's like they were looking for a beat for those lyrics.
Right.
So those lyrics had been recorded many times.
Okay.
DJ Superior had recorded it, I think, on a Biggie beat.
They didn't know you was gonna come with that shit.
DJ, yeah, but this is like these had been recorded like in like a bedroom on turntables with a mic with beats that were out. So Superior had done it on a Biggie beat. My man DJ Prime had done it on the Georgie Porgy beat.
Yeah.
Even I think previous to that, I don't know exactly. And I've heard of either other ones. People will tell me, did you hear it on this beat? So apparently he had those rhymes for, who knows, maybe 10 years.
Right, okay.
You know?
Okay.
Looking for the right thing. Damn. But that also shows, you know, that there's a lesson in that too of patience.
That's crazy.
Of waiting, of knowing, because, okay, you got your life story, right? Think about X, you know?
Yeah.
The creative genius, right? You know those lyrics, you know they're amazing, you know they're real, and you know there's something you really want to share. But you got the patience.
That's crazy.
That you've had them shits for 10 years, spit it on all different beats, waiting until you find that one that just is like,
this is it.
Here it is. Yeah. 10 years later, I got, this is it. And it's like that marriage, right? But it speaks a lot to like the
character,
the creativity, and the patience to be like, okay,
because that song was great. The lyrics is amazing.
Yeah, it just
but the beat, you definitely needed the beat to make it what it was.
It took it to a different space,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
even
to hold it that long is crazy.
And even truth be told,
out of his element. Like,
that beat, I when I did it, I was going through some shit.
Okay.
You know, so that's part of why it has the emotion to it.
Yeah.
And when I heard that Grover Washington sample, you know, I was digging through.
That's where you got it from.
Yeah, I was digging through Grover Washington shit because I loved the Black Moon beat. For, you know, how many MCs?
Okay.
So shout out to Evil D B minus.
Yes, sir.
So that beat, I loved it so much, and I found out they sampled Hydra, you know, which is a Grover Washington record. So I'm like, I bought everything I could find Grover Washington, and that's the reason I was looking in there. Okay. That's another thing that we would do back then. It's like I would dig in crates. I would go to furniture stores, But I would also, if there was a dope record, because the sound.
Furniture stores?
Yeah, hell yeah.
For records?
To this day.
Yeah.
You go to an old furniture store, they buy out the whole house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so because they're buying the furniture, they're buying the dishes,
everything that's
in the house.
Yeah, they're gonna have it.
People got records, so always you would go in and dirt cheap. You go to the back, and you'll be like, bro, I mean, dirt cheap, like nothing. They almost want to give them to you back then. Nobody wanted them. They almost want to give them to you.
So when you saw X late slipping, like the vocals and everything, did you know that Slippin' was going to be as big as it was? Did you have that feeling?
No, I knew it was special. Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about it. Like, people were like, who's this motherfucker who just kind of came in here and did Slippin' with X?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of industry people around. Because this was in Cali. This was in Cali.
Right.
So you had like a lot of people. So a lot of people were excited. I knew it was special. It was even a great moment for me because I had quit my day job.
Right.
I was living with my now wife of 25 years. Shout out Erica.
Damn, 25 years.
Yeah, we just celebrated.
Congrats.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, that's my heart. And so we basically, she was like, I see what you want to do. I quit the job, 100% in music, and I, times was tight. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So X did something really cool. He, I asked him to. I was like, "Can you do me a favor?" Because X was already X.
Right. Okay.
By this time, I had gone through the first album. Did what it was gonna do. He was a big star.
Right.
Anthem was
going
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Call my girl, and just tell her what we just did." And he did it. He called her up. He was like, "Yo." He was like, "Yo, your man is mad talented. You just did this, blah blah blah." And then he gave me back the phone, like he just bigged it up, like, he's
that's that nigga.
You good? Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
Your man is, he's got it. And he gave me back the phone, and it was like a big moment, because it was like you took a chance. It was like the culmination of everything,
right?
In that one moment, And I didn't know it was gonna be that big. There was even, tell you the truth, there was an argument, because I think the label wanted Slippin', Def Jam wanted Slippin', but like the Double R in-house, they wanted the one with Drag On and X.
Oh, okay.
Because business wise, I think there was Ain't No Other Cats Got Love For Me. I'm not sure if that's the one that was. I think that's the one that was on that same album. But either way, there was one with him and X.
Yeah.
And they wanted that because strategically they got Drag on Interscope.
Oh, okay.
So they wanted Def Jam to put that Def Jam energy on him and Drag, so that it'll push Drag up and X. Right. And then, not to say they wouldn't have dropped a Slippin' as a single, but they kind of wanted the other one out the gate. Right?
Okay, right. Exactly.
But there was a big pushback from Def Jam, and Def Jam, because Def Jam really believed in Slippin', that it would take him, which it did. Yeah, Slippin' was the record that took him into like out of like High 97 to Z100
for sure.
Because I mean, dude, I'm in my little apartment on North Broadway in Yonkers, and I'm watching Total Request Live, and my fucking song was #1 on Total Request Live.
Amazing.
I was like,
How'd that feel?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
You heard it like you went outside or you was driving and you heard.
No, I don't even remember the first time I heard that on the radio. I don't remember.
When was the first time you heard somebody else playing it?
I'd crashed the car.
Like you was like,
no, it went. You know what? It was around this. It all happened at the same time because like when X dropped, like especially in Yonkers, everybody's playing the new album as you go outside. So it was kind of at the same time. I don't remember an exact. I remember the first time any of my music was ever played on the radio. That I remember because it was a big moment for me.
Crazy,
yeah, it was already going crazy.
That was High Tech 24/7 off my indie. Red Alert. It was a big moment to me because I idolized Red Alert growing up and recording.
Yeah.
And then he had the 5 o'clock free ride, and I had just put that record in his mailbox with a note from my mentor to him, like, check this out, Aldo. And I mean, we just went up there. We put it in all of their mailboxes for Ladies Night, or every DJ on High 97 at that time. And I'm just driving down Central Avenue in Yonkers with my little Geo tracker, and out of nowhere, he just plays it. I'm like, holy shit! I stopped. I went crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Because it was very unexpected.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I think? Why I might not even remember the first time for the X? Because he was such a big artist.
It was playing everywhere.
It was the single.
Yeah, it was playing everywhere.
It
wasn't
the
same. It
I
was
had a couple of those moments.
Yeah, like it wasn't the same. Right. Like I do remember certain moments. You know, like that one in particular, because when it was number one on TRL, that really blew my mind. Because, I mean, to be like in the top on BET, and then go to Total Request Live, and then play. I could put on Z100, and they're playing Slippin'.
Yeah, no, that's
like
crazy.
the other records didn't quite do that.
Right, exactly.
You know, so it was like, damn, you know, like this is a really big record at that time, you know, and it lives on too.
And it's still playing.
It lives on too, and it speaks to people. I'm very grateful for that record because it, you know, even though I didn't consciously do it, you know how you were saying you're just doing a lot of stuff.
Right,
absolutely.
I didn't do it and be like, oh, this shit's gonna like
be big,
save people or some deep shit, you know.
Nah, real.
But it actually, countless times people will email me. People will. I mean, I've had people come up and hug me, you know, like that I don't even know. Like they'll find out that it's me, and they'll tell me, and it, you know, got them through something.
Yeah, that song is Like, I feel like everybody went through something on that song. That song is big. That song is big.
That song is like therapeutic.
I was saying it's very transparent.
Therapeutic.
You know, it's the craziest thing was it just like one and done. Like you just know.
Yeah, as soon as you hear it,
you know.
Yeah, as soon as you hear it, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was
emotion. You can hear the pain.
Just one of those records. Even like that was the first album I had was Flesh of My Flesh, and I had this Dark and Hell's Hot. My dad used to send me back like CDs and these big booklets when he was driving trucks.
Oh shit!
And I would play every single one of them. This Dark and Hell's Hot, Flesh of My Flesh were like my top two, and then I obviously had the Beastie Boys anthology and all that stuff. And I would just cycle through. And I heard the production more as a kid, but as I got older, I was like, damn. There's something about these projects that stood the test of time.
That's different.
Seriously. Right? Because I'm looking back now and I'm like listening to the new music. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. The beat's nice. You know, but then you look at the older shit and it's like, damn, there was time put into it. It was like you could feel the energy translating through the speakers. You know, especially lyrically too. You know, because now we're looking for feelings just for that 2 minutes. There's probably a verse and a half. But albums like that, I'd listen to 3 verses per song, right? You listen top to bottom. You dissect the whole project. And that's why I think, like, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're, like, missing a lot of those now.
Yeah, for sure.
20 what?
24.
24.
Old head.
Like,
that's deep, though. Because you were already listening, like, you were digging back already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like an old soul.
But that's dope, though, man, because that's how I was the same way, man.
Right? Yeah, no,
that's why I say I'm
80s,
like not 90s, because I was little, but I was connected.
Yeah,
so I'm like, my origin is like, I'm 50, so I feel like a 60-year-old. I could talk to them about like my hip hop origin, and we can really connect.
Right.
Because I'm, you know, but then again, I had older siblings. I was the youngest, and they were as much as 10 years older than me. So they were like, my brother was breaking. My sisters were going to the fun house. So this is like
Who taught you how to graffiti? You just did that.
I did that on the I did that on the low. Yeah, I did that on the low. I did that to honestly to get popular, so that when I threw parties, I can't even lie and be like, yo, it was the art of it. It was just to get up, because if you were up at that time, everyone's looking. It was a different moment. Like it was like the way someone would be looking for something else now, like maybe on social media or whatever. Like if I would bomb Broadway, because all the buses would come up there,
see it.
And like people who would come from the city to come into Yonkers, and it was like promotion.
Yeah, I was about to promotion. Yeah, back in the day. Before social media, yeah, for sure.
So I can't say I wasn't that nice. Like, you know, my shit looked kind of
Yeah.
But you know,
it was
I was trying to get up.
That's how you had to do it.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so we're gonna do guest producer. You got your guest producer?
Yeah, I got my guest producer.
All right, so we got a game, right?
All right.
So we're gonna play a song, and we're gonna give you 3 multiple choices of producers, and you gotta guess who produced this song.
Oh shit. I'm probably gonna suck at this.
Oh man!
But I'm gonna play though.
It's gonna be 3 songs. I got 3 different.
Yeah, we got 3 songs. 3 multiple choices each song.
All right.
Alright. So, the first one, what you got for him? And we could give one to Avery too. Don't we? Not Avery's not. He's not safe over here. Yeah, he's not safe.
I can't do it because
that emergency line.
Yeah, he's the emergency line.
Shit.
Yeah, he's the emergency line.
I get one.
You got one. So you got 3 choices. He's the emergency line for one.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What you got over there? Okay. I don't know.
Is that Just Blaze though?
You want to go with it? I'm gonna give you a list. I'm gonna give you a list.
No, but you can go without the list though. If you go without the list,
it's probably gonna be tricky.
Okay, I'm about to say, you go without the list.
I'm gonna give you a list on all of them.
That's that 1-800. Okay.
Pause it right there. All right. So the
he
list
said, but he threw out Just Blaze. I'm not good. He threw out Just Blaze, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? He said Just Blaze first.
Nah, Just Blaze not on the list, but
okay. So that was not
give
Just
you the
Blaze.
list. All right. The list is Trackmasters, Bink, or DJ Tune.
Bink.
Yeah, that was too easy.
That was too easy. Yeah, as soon as he hear it, he's like, because Bink is. That's what I said. As soon as he hear it,
the other one.
Set Just Blaze off for it too.
Yeah.
It was the drum.
Time.
Because he plays for all we know, maybe he just a drum fill in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I heard that drum fill. The drum fill was like, I saw him because I seen him in the videos, and I already was envisioning him.
Just Blaze. Yeah. Bink, see, that was easy.
I got another one.
That was easy. We gotta get it.
He cooked me on that one. Hold on.
It's because he heard the song. As soon as he heard the name, though, because
you
know the name was tied to them.
Once he heard the name,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I seen his reaction to the names. I was like, fuck.
All right.
Here we go.
It's the next one. But that could have been Just Blaze for sure, though, because even that time, though, like that time, Just Blaze was like cooking shit around that time. You know what I'm saying?
Bink sees it's gonna be mad. He'd be like, "That shit ain't no Just Blaze."
Yo, shout out to Bink.
Shout out to Bink, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I have mad respect for Bink.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd probably be like, "You didn't play no fucking drum, bro." I programmed that shit.
Right.
Who's this kid? Who's this Shok guy?
Right.
Talking shit.
YouTube ads.
Here
we go.
Oh, okay, you bring it back. I like that. Yeah, I like when you do that.
Yeah, it's that shit too.
It's that throwback.
I know the game now, so I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the names.
No, they don't got no tag on this. Okay. What's the multiple choice? What's the multiple choice?
You're gonna have to cut this. I gotta make sure.
He wants to make it more difficult now.
Yeah.
Another one's too
easy.
Hold on. It's 2 producers on this song though.
Okay.
Alright. So we're gonna go Teddy Riley and Dallas Austin, Teddy Riley and Bink, or Teddy Riley and Pharrell.
Okay, so Teddy Riley definitely.
I'm gonna go with the first one.
What was the first one?
It was Teddy Riley in Austin.
No. Shit. Oh man.
So actually, Teddy Riley and Bink produced that.
Oh, so that was another Bink. That was okay. Oh, that was another Bink. Okay.
I was surprised.
Yeah, that was another Bink.
Yo, Bink is never gonna be
shout
my friend.
Shout out to Bink. Yo, shout out to Bink. He said he's never gonna be my friend, man.
Like, oh, what's up, man?
Right. You ain't know my shit.
Okay. He got so much shit, man. Like, you don't know. Like, everybody heard that song. It's like,
I didn't even know that. I didn't know Bink.
I just found it out today.
I would have never known.
I
would have never known.
I just found it out today.
Damn. That's crazy.
A big record, too.
For sure.
Huge record.
No.
All right, so we got one more?
Yeah, I got one more.
All right, you got one more?
Last one.
If this is Bink.
3 times in a row is crazy, yo. Yo.
Alright. We got Trackmasters, Just Blaze, or Swiss Beats.
I'm going with Trackmasters.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He got one. He got one. No, he got two. He got 2 out of 3. He got 2 out of 3, right? He got 2 out of 3.
Did I get that first?
The first one. You got the first one out easy. He knocked the first one. Yeah, he knocked the first one out. Yeah, the first one was too easy.
Yeah, I said we give you a B plus, A minus.
Yeah, he switched it out. He switched it up. Nah, I liked it. He switched it up. Okay, he switched it up. Okay.
You know you gotta switch it up. I try to be different.
Okay.
I try to be different.
All right. So, how you and Avery meet? What's the connection?
We were trying to remember that.
We were trying to, so I feel like it's between.
This your first time meeting, right?
In person,
in person? Oh,
yeah.
Hey, man, we made it on Behind the Beat.
Come
on, man, we made it happen.
Yeah, man. Well, a little backstory. So the BET DMX Rough Riders documentary was out.
Okay.
And I was watching it, and I was like, man, I need to get in contact with some people, man. Like, I want to learn the history more.
Exactly.
I wanted to actually, like, stop going on the internet. I'm like, who can I sit down with and actually, like, just, what was that like? You know? Because, like I said, my dad put me on to DMX for a long time.
Right.
Since I was a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think what it was after that, either I reached out directly or it could have been Mike Tramp at BeatStars.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I can't remember.
I feel like I might have reached out, or Mike could have put a bug. I don't know, but because I was talking to Mike around that time too. Mike Tramp, shout out to Mike, the producer Whisperer. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So because I was doing something, and my manager had linked me with Mike. He said, "Yo, why don't you join BeatStars?" I was like, "I don't know, man." But I was watching the interviews, right? And I saw you had gave a good interview. It was, I think, with DJ Payne.
Oh, with Payne, yeah. Shout out to Payne.
So it was around that time period, but I think it was a DM or something. But we ended up chopping it up for a long time.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we had a lot of good conversations.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about points and masters and things like that, right? Because I'm probably barely 21, right? Barely. I'm like getting calls by all these publishers. And the first thing I'm not going to do, right, is go to a producer that might have went, I don't care if he went 10 times platinum and he came in last year. What does he know yet? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what was the game like then and now? Because I want to compare the two, you know, because all the technicalities and things are so different. But we talked a lot about clearing stuff. And, yeah, it was along the lines of that.
That's hard.
Which came out to be dope because, you know, not a lot of people will sit down and really
we had like some long talks.
Yeah.
Long talks
about phone, life. Like over phone
yeah.
type.
Okay,
that's
had like any like clearance, like issues with clearance samples and stuff like that?
Let me see. Like where they wouldn't clear it?
Mm-hmm.
I made a big mistake one time with a sample. I made a mistake because first of all, I told you Rough Riders doesn't like samples.
Yeah.
They didn't back then. I mean, I don't know about these days, but
I love samples, bro.
So they didn't want you to sample. So I chopped up this sample crazy, and in my head, you can recognize it. I don't know what I was thinking because now that I look back, you could recognize it. But I was playing was a
thing back then,
I was trying to get it by.
Yeah.
And I totally fucked up. It was a record with Sheik, which is I think the one you're talking about with Little Mo, right? Mm-hmm. Which is probably one of my favorite beats that I ever made. Yeah. I think that record, it had leaked out to mixtapes, and like K Slade was on it. Like it was gonna be a really good look for me and Sheik, and like a dickhead. Yeah, rest in peace. But like a dick, I listened to someone in my ear in the studio who didn't know shit, and they were like, yo, they don't be clearing shit. I'm telling you, they were naming this producer who samples all the time, like he don't clear shit, blah blah blah. And like you don't have to clear it. Because I was like ready to clear it, just like I always would try. And then I'm like, shit, let me try it. So I didn't say nothing. And then, so got past everything. It was on it was mastered, and somebody at Interscope they sent it to like a sample clearance place. Okay. They couldn't figure out what it was, but they were like, but I know it's a sample. So Interscope wouldn't put it out. So it was, and I tried to recreate it like at the last second without the sample, but it didn't feel right. It just didn't sound right. I tried, and so this is my public apology to Sheik. I fucked that up.
Sheik, man, we're gonna get it right.
Yeah, we can re-release it.
You feel me? Yeah.
Now we could probably do it.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, that sucked, man. It was a great record.
That's hard.
It was a great. That's hard. Someone just told me you're a writer, and I was like, "Fuck you mean I'm a writer?" Like I don't know what year this was, but it was like my mind is blown because I'm just like sitting there making the beat, playing shit, and they like, it's like what? Oh, this is what happened. It was Rich Keller. I remember. He comes in and he's like, "What are you doing, Shok? Writing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm making beats." And he's like, "Yeah, writing." And then he's like, he schools me. He's like, "No, every time you're writing, you're writing music."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
You painting the picture.
So you're writing, and that's like why it gets complicated because we're doing these beats. We sit with an artist. We may not give them too much direction. We may there's so many hit records where we just sent the beat in. There's other ones where there's tons of records like that I sent it with the chorus that I would have the chorus already done.
So basically, give them a blueprint to it.
Yeah,
like how I would do it.
Cruising with Jadakiss and Snoop that had the chorus.
Yeah.
Eve, Life So Hard had the chorus. Be Me had the chorus for her. A lot of hers had the chorus already.
Yeah. And I feel like that's how I would do it. Like if I was like a producer, that's how I would do it. Like I would do my beat and then I would just like send it with like a blueprint of like you know what I'm saying, like an idea, like this is how I seen it, you know what I'm saying? So like you can take it in your voice and however you want to do it, but this is how I will see it.
Which is extra great for like major artists who are on deadlines.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if
they gotta be quick.
If you get someone not on a deadline, they might want to live with it, try this. But if you're on a deadline and that was the advantage I felt like I had because there was a moment where we had all these artists like on the Rough Riders who had this one has to be out by this date. Okay. This has to be out here. You know, you have Interscope, you have Def Jam, you have all this stuff, you have compilations. So I felt like I gave myself a bit of an advantage because you're under pressure. Right. You're just coming off tour. What's up?
You need quick.
Oh yeah, you need something? Yeah. I was like, in the next 5 minutes, I have this shit on the 2-inch. And we could be
up, and
you can start writing now, and you can have a hit
right now
by tomorrow. You know, we'll mix it, and I think that was very like tempting, because think about it, they're going through a lot. They gotta get this album. It has to be good.
It's pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It's like
okay,
because once you make a hit, you gotta keep making hits.
But that's a business thing too. How much are you helping that person to get what they need and making it easier for them?
Right.
In any business, right? Like.
Adding value to the room, basically.
There you go.
Yeah.
You ever shot in the own studio on a hit that we know?
Oh, tons. I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know.
A couple artists you work with like that. You was personally like you work with them, not just like sent the beat like personally in the studio with.
Let's see, but I mean,
you was with in the studio Eve and all them.
Always with Eve.
Favorite like moment like ever like.
Other than slipping, because I know that's top.
That's top. Nothing top.
Yeah, of course not. You can't beat that.
So
that's legendary.
No, one of my favorite things was, it almost makes me feel retired because I have to go back. But like playing beats for Busta, I used to love to play beats for Busta because, like he
animated.
First off, he would make me play him fucking. I would come with a CD of. Like bag of like hundreds of beats, and he would make me play every fucking. He'd be like, "Shok, I know you got more," and I would be like, "All right," but I loved it because like he would get animated, he'd be like, "Yo, this shit right here." He would make the face, So I enjoyed it so much because it's like someone like him showing you that type of love. It just felt good. You're collaborating in that type of way,
Give us some good stories of Pun and stuff when like we was recording with him, how you met him and stuff.
So basically with Pun, I was trying to get to Pun. I tried through the A&R. I tried through like the regular channels, and I was getting nowhere. So I had a friend, Gio, and he was friends with Pun's cousin, Ray. And so I tried that channel. I was like, yo, just tell Pun I want to play him some joints, tell him who I am and everything, because I'm not getting nowhere with the regular channels.
By this time, he's already big.
I already made. He's already.
And Slim is already out. Boom, everybody.
Yeah, I'm doing my thing.
He's doing his thing.
He's one of the best of all time already. Working on his second album. So I'm trying to get on the second album. And so what ends up happening is Ray actually brings me right to his house. And so we go to the Bronx, and I go in there, and I'm pretty sure it was a cassette. I played a cassette, I think, at that time, or a CD. No, it was probably CD at that time. So I played the CD with the beats, and he was feeling it. We talked a little bit, and he was like, yo, he gave me his number, and so now I had to direct. So it was Pun to me. Yeah, but his shit was always off anyway. So that still didn't help. So he was like, yo, I want you on my album, blah, blah, blah. He was like, yo, we got, I left him some beats. And so it still didn't happen, right?
Right.
So again, I get locked out. He's not picking up the number. I don't have nobody else. So he told me, like the last time I had talked to him, he was like, yo, my budget's open. I got to pick the beats. I'm going to be in the studio real soon, blah, blah, blah. Just stay in the loop.
Right.
So it's A&R. Yeah. I call the A&R. And the A&R is like, nah, I don't know where they are. I'm like, come on, man. This is I almost want to say his name, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But so he's like, nah, I don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But he also makes beats.
Okay.
Which I gave him a lot of advice. So I'm with my boy Amori, rest in peace, and we're like in the truck, and I'm like, yo, man, I know he's at the studio. So I was like, all right. So I start calling every studio. I call Hit Factory, Sony, like all the big ones at that time that I knew he would probably be in.
Putting that work in.
So I was like, yo, can I have Pun session? This is Shok from Rough Riders.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, not here. I called I called Sony, I think. They were like, no, because I knew he would be at Sony sometimes. Then I called Hit Factory, which they weren't even far from each other. And I'm in the neighborhood. And they put me through. They're like, okay, hold on 1 second. I don't even do nothing. I hang up.
Yeah.
I drive to Hit Factory. And I'm like, what's up, Shok, see Pun? And Pun is like, yeah, let him in. So I play the beats, and guess who's there standing, playing beats? The A&R.
Oh, okay. The one you was
that's
going.
why he didn't want me to come.
Oh, he was in there.
He knew the budget was open.
Yeah.
He knew if I came, I was going to bring something and give him a hard time to get placed.
Man, hating. He was trying to open that door. Come on, man.
Yeah, so he picked a couple beats, and that opened the floodgates. At that time, I ended up doing stuff with Cuban, all of them, Sace, Getty, all of them. And at that time, they all had deals on Atlantic.
That was like Terror Squad. They all
Terror Squad. I did tons of stuff with them.
Opened the door for
it opened the door, and then I became like sort of not in house, but very welcome.
Right, exactly.
Over there. Like where I could just pop up.
Exactly.
I knew where they were. It was I kind of crossed that barrier.
You had to hunt them down like you was
and I'll give. I mean, this doesn't work anymore, but a good trick back then was to get cool with whoever was the studio manager.
Okay.
That's how I used to always know about Busta.
Where everybody is at.
Like when he was at the studio. Because his the guy who took care of the studio was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, do me a favor. Just call me when he comes in. Like, I don't care what time it is.
Right.
Because I had an open invitation. If I show up, I'm in.
Right. But you just
I don't know when he's there.
Exactly. Okay.
So and I'm not going to be like, I didn't feel like, someone important like Busta. I'm not going to be like calling him every day. Yo, when you going to go to the studio? I'm going to sound like a dick,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, yo, just let me know. And then, sure enough, boom, here I come.
Damn, that's hard.
Check
so you
this
just
out.
pop up? You just pop up?
I just pop up, yeah.
You could get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because,
hard.
I mean, at the time, I was just bringing tracks.
Mm-hmm,
they were all they're working on stuff. Even with him, he had flip mode in a different situation too.
Okay, right, exactly.
So I had like 3 camps that had like deals with all their artists. So it was like Double R, Flip Mode, and Terror Squad at that time.
Eating.
Yeah. No. But
That's
why I was able to do well, even when like I wasn't getting the royalties, because that's what I ended up having to go to court for and everything. Mm-hmm. But the advances were like, they were good. They were good. I mean, you get an advance, you get 10, 15, 10. It adds up.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the highest you sold a beat for?
What was that question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
1 second. Oh, maybe.
That shit died.
Oh, it died?
Yeah.
Alright, so just turn the TV off. This one.
Right there, every turn TV off, so don't look crazy.
Oh, shit.
Come on, Kendrick.
Alright.
Appreciate you.
Alright.
I got a charger, but
Yep.
Can you actually put the remote on the counter? Alright, so back to your question, Avery.
So if you don't mind me asking, what was the highest you sold a beat for?
I think
that's a good question.
Especially back then.
20 was high. You know, I did 20 a lot of times. 15.
Oh no, we're not gonna go by that like that. 15 was regular. He said we did 20 a lot of times.
A lot of times. Like, 15 was like my in-house price.
Yeah. Okay.
So 20 was my outside price. Okay. My normal.
So 15.
But there was, I think for the training day, I got a lot. I got like 30 on that one. Because it was 100. Damn. Training day was 100. So 70 was supposed to go to the locks, and I got 30. And that one I think I got the 30 because I had a lot to do with getting it placed with you know, with the A&R and everything. Okay, yeah. He called me. He was asking for a locks record for the soundtrack, and he was like, "You think you can get one?" And the way that happened was I had a solo record with Shok on that beat. Yeah. For Dirty Riders, and I asked Shok, I was like, "Yo, Shok, this is what's happening, blah blah blah," and he was like, he was cool. Actually, it was a good look for me, and you know, I mean, it became a classic underground record. But he could have been like, "Damn, nah, that's my shit." Right? Yeah. But I was like, "Yo, come on!" I was like, "This is what's happening. This is how much they're gonna pay." I was like, "Any way you would share it with you know, with the Styles and Kiss." And
he kept it real.
He thought about it and he was like, "All right, Shok." You know what I mean? And it was pretty, you know, me and him, we worked a lot together. So it was like, we had a good rapport.
You still got the love for it though. Like what? Like, you ever lost the love for it and you had to get it back, or you just always had the love for it?
I've been in seasons of my life where, I would say I did.
Like, you don't want to do nothing with music,
but it was the business.
Right.
I never hated the music, but the music was so like pushed to the side for me because of the hatred for the business and everything. It was almost like let's say if you were in a relationship and you loved the woman, right? But she was really fucking bullshit. Bad.
Yeah, it's too much bullshit.
She was awful. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's how I felt. Where like, I gotta stay away from you.
Exactly.
Like, you know, even though I love you, but I gotta stay away from you, type of thing. And that's how I felt with music, because it was like, in order to engage with music, I have to engage with the business. And it was like, then you start to say, look at other things in life. You know, try and like, because as important as music is to me, life is still bigger than music.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, I never want to lose that perspective.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because you know, music is one thing, but I mean, the real thing, you know, is life, family, your loved ones, even you know, love, you know, being health, good to yourself, your health, and all that is more important, you know. But music is a gift because we get into a state of flow, and that's a gift because you disappear. You know, the shit that everybody does different things to disappear. Some people become addicted to things or whatever, but we have a natural gift to disappear from this crazy fucking world. Facts. And that's a huge blessing. And sometimes I think that these fucking business people are a little jealous of that shit, because they're around these creative fucking people who like got this something within them to make magic happen.
Exactly. And everybody loves it.
And I think that they're kind of like a little something in them is like,
the envy.
You got magic and all this shit, but I'm gonna own you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you got magic and all this shit.
Envy. Yeah.
But you'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna get you. You know?
Exactly.
Like, I'm gonna get you.
You need me.
Yeah, like you need me. Like it's kind of fucked up. You know, it's like I feel that way. I could be wrong, but after all these years, that's my sense of some of these people who are not genuine.
Right.
You know,
they don't have that gift,
and I think that's what they're in it to like. Sort of find victim, you know, like, okay, I'm all right, I got you. Like, and then next thing you know, you know, that's like you're in that situation, and it's like, I think that's a part of it to me, that they almost wish that they
had that gift.
Have it,
because
sure. we just have it. I didn't do it, and most people don't to like get fame. Like my son, he's 22, he's DJing, he's got a Columbia engineering degree. He wants to DJ, and it's like I'm supporting him, but I gave him the talk, and I was like, "Yo, if you're gonna do this, I never wanted it for you,
right?
But if you do it, you gotta like love it, because anything you could do with your degree and he's fucking genius, he's brilliant, is gonna probably outdo
what you could do in
the music. Why? Not because he's not talented, because he is. He's always had a good ear for music.
It's but just the business.
The thing is, look, do math for a second, right? If you got a 6-figure job for 20, 25 years, let's say, whatever, you're getting your increases, whatever, a good job, let's just say, you do whatever you got to do, you got a good job. And you versus that to, let's say, a mid-level producer. Let's say mid-level because there's only like 3 top-level producers at any given moment, right? Okay. At least in hip-hop. Right. So you're mid-level. That means you're going to have like these big runs, these lulls, maybe some big runs. Let's just say you're one of the mid-levels who last over 30 years. A mid-level producer on a good run over a 4-year period, I'm going to be conservative. Well, let's be generous. Is going to make $500,000 over 4 or 5 year period, let's say. A mid-level producer on a good run. Mm-hmm. What's the guy with the good job make over 4 or 5 years? Without the fucking stress, punching the clock, with a health plan, with retirement. 401k. So this is a mid-level guy that you've heard of, not a nobody. Right? This is the reality. So it's like, you don't do this for the money.
Okay, you do it for
is what I'm saying.
Right.
You do it because, like he said, if I don't do it, I'm suffering inside.
Yeah, right. Creative.
That's why you do it.
Yeah, because you're a real creative.
Yeah, because if you don't do it, it's almost like you're trapped in a box and you can't get out.
Okay.
If you're not doing it, you feel trapped. That's why you should do it. So it's like that's what it is. What it is.
Right.
You know, it's not a money thing. The only people who are making big money, and even them, mess it up too.
Right.
It's not something you do for money.
You gotta love the game.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. The music part. Gotta love the music part. You know.
I was told that before. No bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, the amount of work we have to do to make that $500,000, if we're lucky, before taxes, before manager, before lawyer.
That's what I was thinking of that. That's why I said generously. I'm saying
you might have generated
that's what you end up with.
$500,000. You didn't see that, and let's say you're not even in a publishing deal, and you don't have to recoup, and you still have bills. And let's call it, if you're a single guy, like let's say out here like $4,000 a month, if you're lucky, 5.
That's a rate you can go do.
And then
the clock.
You still have to wait for your shit to drop.
You might as well do both. You might as well work and, you know what I mean?
I would say that, but like, well, I've never worked a 9 to 5 technically, but engineering is like my day job. Because I have those days where I have 13-hour sessions.
It's hard. It's a hard cookie. Because you gotta like.
It's a mental thing for me.
Because if you want to do it, you gotta do it all the time.
And it's just something you just. And when you try to quit, if you can't, then you love it because it's not really a choice. It's like you just get brought back into it. So it's probably good to try to quit and see if you can.
Yeah, I would say that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one.
And you just like...
That's the test. Yeah. Try to quit. Let's see how that goes.
And we never...
That's good, Jay.
We never talked about the women in life, in your life, right? Yeah. Women. Like when you're doing this shit to the capacity that, like... I'm going to keep it short because I don't want to talk too much about myself. But when it was a COVID time, bro. Like, dead ass. I was flying around. I was doing a bunch of shit. I had a woman at home, long time, didn't see her for months at a time. Mm-hmm. Most women aren't going to go for that. Most people aren't going to go for that. You're stuck obsessed with your own shit.
Yeah.
And unless they're like with you on it, they're not going to be with you on it.
Yeah, that's another piece of it.
Yeah, you're a different type of person after. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're obsessed with your craft, you're just a different type of person. And somebody gotta accept it or not accept it. It's like,
bro, that's real as hell, bro.
And it's like they don't talk about that.
Oh, I already know. That's
Nope.
Because it takes them long nights and them long hours.
I don't say too much, but it's definitely a lot.
Yeah, and that's the other thing people don't realize is it, and I told this to my son too. You know, he's at that age where he's trying to do something. Is like you gotta have, and I think everyone who's breaks through this like barrier, a period of somewhere between 2 to 4 years, where you completely give yourself to it.
Yeah.
You know,
nobody else.
This is just
nobody,
you.
Yeah, nobody else.
I'm not in a committed relationship.
Not talking to nothing.
There has to be like I would say minimum 2. That's like you're lucky.
Yeah.
At least selfish. 4, I'm thinking, of just 100%, just you, your dream, what you got to do, and that's the only way I think to break through. You know, breaking night. Sometimes you don't sleep. Like you got to kill yourself. You know, for like 4 years. That's my opinion, to break through. You know, and then once you break through, it's not gonna get easy, but at least you're breaking through, and now you have choices. You know, do you want to keep doing it? Do this or whatever? But I don't. I mean, there's the viral thing. People get lucky. I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, but sometimes they only prove the rule. But I truly believe that you have to have a period of serious putting it before everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Before you can break through.
Dedication, consistency.
Yeah, for sure.
Shok, you got a message for the Shok?
No.
I don't know.
I
got one. Yo, message of the day, man. Hard work outbeats talent any day.
Yeah, never give up, because you see it's gonna pay off, man. Especially if you love doing something, don't ever give up doing that.
No matter how much talent you got, hard work always beats talent. As long as you're willing to put in the work, that shit will show. Just put in the work and keep going. Consistency, determination. That's it.
Got living proof sitting right here, man. You already know.
Yeah.
So.
On the next episode, man, we out, man.
Behind the beat.
See y'all.
And all I really wanna know is who made the beat. Get up off your sheets and get up on your feet. Get up off your sheets. Welcome to Behind the Beat.